Welcome to Series 1 of Understanding Gambling Addiction, and today is day 2. In our last episode, we explored what gambling addiction is, but today we are asking a different question, a more important question. How does gambling addiction begin? Nobody wakes up one morning and decides, I want to be addicted. Nobody places a bet and expecting it to take over their life. Nobody sees the ending when they are standing at the beginning. So where does the journey actually start? What turns a harmless habit into a harmful pattern? What transforms entertainment into dependency? And why do so many people fail to notice it happening until the consequences become impossible to ignore? My name is Engman Osaribie. I'm an addiction mentor and public awareness advocate. On this channel, we expose hidden psychology behind gambling addiction and recovery. Today, we're exploring the hidden path from the first bet to compulsive behavior. And understanding it may change the way you see gambling addiction forever. Let's dive in. Most people believe gambling addiction begins with a bet. They are wrong. The first bet is usually not the beginning, it's the center. The real beginning happened earlier, much earlier, before the betting app, before the casino, before the lottery ticket, and before the football prediction. Addiction often begins in places nobody talks about, in stress, in loneliness, in boredom, in frustration, in emotional pain. Because gambling does not create emotional emptiness, it discovers it. And today, we are going to investigate something most people never stop to ask. How does an ordinary person become vulnerable to gambling addiction in the first place? Let's start with one of the biggest myths about gambling addiction. Many people believe gambling addiction happened to somebody reckless, somebody irresponsible, somebody different. But addiction rarely announces itself that way. The future addict usually looks normal, walks normally, thinks normally, lives normally, and dreams normally. They have plans, goals, responsibilities, and ambitions. And that is why addiction is dangerous. Because it doesn't target the type of person, it targets a human condition. The need for relief, the need for hope, and the need to escape discomfort. Every human being possesses those needs, which means every human being possesses vulnerability. Now, what creates vulnerability? Not gambling, life. Life creates vulnerability. A financial struggle, a difficult relationship, unemployment, failure, loneliness, uncertainty, stress, pressure. Something creates discomfort, and the human brain immediately begins searching for solutions. That is what brains do. They solve problems, they reduce pain, they seek relief. The problem begins when the relief arrives in a dangerous form, because gambling rarely introduces itself as danger. It introduces itself as possibility. Possibility is one of the most powerful forces in human psychology. Think about it. People don't buy lottery tickets because they believe they will lose. They buy possibility. They buy imagination. And for a few moments, they imagine a different future. A future with no debt, no stress, no pressure, no problem. A better life. That emotional experience is incredibly powerful because the brain temporarily escapes reality, not physically, but psychologically. And that psychological escape becomes important later. Most people believe the first win creates addiction. Not exactly. The first win creates a memory. And memories are powerful, especially emotional memories. Imagine two people. One places a bet and loses immediately. The other places a bet and wins. Who is likely to return? Usually the second person. Why? Because the brain remembers rewards. The brain says, that felt good. Let's do that again. And just like that, a psychological door quietly opens. Now we arrive at the moment most people miss. The real beginning. Not the first bet, not the first win. The first emotional dependency. That's where addiction truly begins. The moment gambling becomes more than gambling. The moment gambling becomes relief. Relief from stress, relief from anxiety, relief from loneliness, relief from disappointment, and relief from reality. Once gambling starts serving an emotional function, the danger increases dramatically. Because now the person is no longer gambling for money. They are gambling for emotional regulation. The transmission is usually invisible. No alarms, no warnings, no dramatic announcements. Small changes like thinking about betting more often, taking odds more often, watching games differently, feeling excited by possibilities, imagining recoveries, and planning future bets. The person still feels normal, but psychologically, something has changed. Gambling becomes emotionally significant, and emotional significant behaviors are difficult to abandon. Perhaps the most frightening part of addiction is how normal it feels while it's great. Nobody feels addicted one day. Nobody says, I think my brain is being conditioned. because the process is gradual. One session, one experience, one emotional reward at a time. That's why many people only recognize the problem after significant damage appears. The addiction was growing silently long before the consequences become invisible. If there is one lesson this video teaches, it is this. Gambling addiction does not begin with gambling. It begins with vulnerability. Gambling simply enters through the door vulnerability leaves open. The person was searching for relief, searching for hope, searching for escape, searching for something. And gambling appears to provide it temporarily. But temporary relief often creates permanent problems. The most dangerous thing about gambling addiction is not how it ends, it's how it begins, quietly. So quietly that many people don't even realize it has started. And that is why awareness matters. Because when you understand how addiction begins, you become better equipped to stop it before it grows. The first defense against addiction is not discipline, it's understanding. Because you cannot fight a trap until you see it. If you are struggling in gambling addiction, or if it feels like I'm telling your story, click the link in the description for our one-on-one consultation with us. We'll help you understand what is keeping you trapped, guide you through the recovery process, and show you how to rebuild your life. You don't have to do this alone. Recovery is possible. The first step is reaching out. In our next video, we are going to talk about why gambling is so powerful. See you in my next video.